Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And Brie Larson. Brie Larson needs to watch out. She needs to watch out. I gotta wonder if Disney's not eyeing up Monica Rambeau to replace Carol Danvers.
Well, that's what everybody wanted to begin with.
That's what we wanted.
For all the yelling about sexism and racism,
I know, right?
most people were just like, why isn't it Monica Rambeau? And it's like, that's what people were mad about. And then they're like, it's because you're racist and sexist. It's like, no, we want Monica Rambeau.
We just want Captain Marvel to be like the comics. You racists.
You know, no, you're sexist.
You hate women. And
it's like, yeah.
So anyway, we're going to talk about that because I am getting the vibe that Brie Larson is not loved as much by Disney these days, or even her coworkers, or even YouTube. Like, she's trying very, very hard to get people to like her again, and it doesn't seem to be working very well. Meanwhile, all the talk about WandaVision isn't about Wanda or Vision. It's about the fact that they're finally bringing adult Monica Rambeau.
Yep.
And they're touting her as a leader among heroes.
About time.
It's about damn time, because, again, where the hell have you guys been? Monica Rambeau, a black woman, was in charge of the Avengers in the 1980s.
Mm-hmm. No, they just invented strong female characters 5 years ago, and they just invented women of color strong female characters this year.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I was shocked because as a kid growing up reading Marvel Comics, the only Captain Marvel I knew for the longest time was Monica Rambeau.
And did you remember everybody being all mad about it or having an issue with it in any way, shape, or form?
Nope.
No. Because back when we were kids, that happened all the time. A lot of the most popular television shows on the air were not white shows and everything else. And it just never even occurred to us that it was an issue until, 2015 came and said, hold my beer.
Yeah, so Monica was in charge of the Avengers. I think at the same time, Storm was the leader of the X-Men. And I was a little white kid and I didn't think anything of it.
No.
I'm like, okay, that totally makes sense because they earned it.
Right? I know, right?
I'm just saying.
And they sold and they did well and they did not need to tout it as an inclusive book to do so.
No. So if they're going to go, so I think where I'm going to be kind of ass mad about this is if all of a sudden they're like, we decided that because we're so progressive, we're going to replace Captain Marvel with Monica Rambeau and show the world that it's okay to have a movie led by a woman of color. It'd be like, why the hell didn't you do it in the first place?
Because everybody was asking for it when you did Captain Marvel.
Like, you could have made her part of the Avengers in another Avengers movie first.
Yeah.
And then it would have been totally organic to put her in charge when Steve Rogers steps aside. Kind of like what happened in the comic books.
Because now it just seems like a play for attention and for, like diversity hire instead of an actual, it makes sense because the comics, which is what people were asking for. Now, even if you do that, it just doesn't look like it was anything more than that.
Yeah, at this point, I'll tell you the truth. At this point, if they do that, if they actually do put her in as Captain Marvel, as she should be instead of like Photon or whatever they're calling her now, it does look more like a stunt.
Right.
And it also shows you don't read the fucking comics.
It also shows that all the times you were screaming at the fans and they were saying about how they didn't want Brie Larson, they'd rather have a character, actress like her play Monica Rambeau, then, you have to get your words.
So Teyonah Parris, who I've actually watched, some clips of, she seems like a really fun lady. Mm-hmm. She does. I think she'll be great. But here we're going back to the freaking 1980s. Back to the 1980s. Entertainment Weekly, let's see here. Curiously Lavanos. Okay, so they're talking about the comic book version. That would be the writer of the article in the Entertainment Weekly. This is coming from Bounding in the Comics. So looking back to Monica Rambeau's comic book history, she's a leader among heroes.
No shit.
She's the type of hero that can always talk with other heroes, said the writer. She's a huge asset. Now, of course, going back to the Avengers, this is probably like 84, 85. She is the chairwoman. Right. Of the Avengers.
And they wanted her to be. And they were asking her to be because, that was how it was. It didn't just like happen now.
These qualities may ring true of the various comic versions of Rambeau due to both her years of crime-fighting experience as the original Captain Marvel, preceding Carol Danvers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Carol Danvers in the comics was Ms. Marvel. She got knocked on her ass by Rogue and had her powers stolen. She wound up in a coma. And then we had Monica Rambeau become a new Captain Marvel, but her powers were totally not related.
Right.
To the other Captain. It's complicated. Now she's Photon. Now she's been sidelined. She's not even worthy of it. So that's how progressive is that? We bring Captain Marvel back after all these years.
Right.
In 2014, 2015. And we bring back Carol Danvers and not Monica Rambeau. Mm-hmm. And Carol Danvers wasn't Captain Marvel. She was Ms. Marvel.
Right. But as I said, 2015, it was all about women. And I'm sorry, that diversity then, it was, especially if it was basically white women, light-skinned women who were lesbians. I'm not going to lie. That's basically what it was. And now 2020 is like, oh, hell no.
Yeah. So
not enough.
So the difference between the comic book version, though, of Monica Rambeau, and this is the last time we saw her, she was a little kid.
Right.
So I hope she's got some backstory. I hope they're actually going to kind of go. But she again, the difference is people don't mind diversity at all. As long as the, character, any character, I don't care what race, what gender, whatever, people want good characters. And they want, if they're going to become a leader of a team or whatever, they want them to earn it.
Right. They don't want this to be handed just because of their adjectives. And the kicker is there have been all kinds of diverse characters throughout the years that were just good characters. They didn't just invent, superheroes that were gay or characters that were not white and all that stuff in the last few years. It's been going on for decades.
Yeah. So, look at this. 1982. It's first appearance. Now, I started reading Avengers comics, I want to say 84, 85. And as I recall, and my time might be out because I'm old and I forget things, but I believe she was in charge back then. But so everybody's making a big deal about Monica now. Before, you were called a hater if you were calling for Brie Larson to step aside all the man babies. Now, interesting thing about Brie Larson is it seems like people are kind of falling out of love with her. And even with her Marvel co-stars, they don't seem like they're really too into her. But her YouTube career is not doing so hot. She's trying to become more relevant.
I think with all those people that were working on the Marvel films, I can't understand why you wouldn't. They all seem to get along. They all seem pretty friendly. They all have each other's backs, and they all seem like a family. I just can't. I mean, you'd have to try to not get along with these people.
Yeah, she always just seemed like she was kind of the odd one out. But then the flip side is they kind of they introduced her late, and they basically made her the originator of the Avengers, the most powerful, the bestest, the Mary Sue character.
It's not the actress's fault.
It's not her fault.
I'm just saying,
so maybe she's
actors I'm talking about. Whenever you see them together, they all seem like they get along really well. They're very tight-knit. They back each other up. They seem very much like a friendly group, and they seem very accepting of others. And that's why I don't understand, why it seems like there's some tension here.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Because, I've heard story. I guess she didn't get along that well with Chris Hemsworth. And
I don't know. She just strikes me as someone, I don't know her, but just from what I've seen of her and not talking about her as her acting, I'm talking about her personally. She seems like she's trying too hard to be like, hey, I'm cool like you. And she often acts like she's a stick up her rear end. But that's just me.
I would agree with that. Now, this article came out a month ago. Sports Kita, I guess, put this up, but they said that her YouTube channel is in decline, and she's doing the YouTube, and it doesn't seem to really be working that well for her. Now, she did get a play button within a week.
Yeah.
I think or so she hit 100,000 a week, but now she's going back out to the media outlets. This is not normal for a YouTuber to get an article in Elle.
No.
And they talk about her YouTube channel. This just was yesterday. So we've got all these stories going around now talking about how great Teyonah Parris is going to be as Monica Rambeau. Monica Rambeau, she's the original Captain Marvel. Yay, Monica. And all of a sudden, here comes Brie Larson on Elle. Oh, hey, I got a YouTube channel.
That's been out for months.
Yeah,
Why mention it now?
Yeah, exactly. I got to tell you, I think between Monica Rambeau and the Ms. Marvel series coming out, that they might sideline Carol Danvers, especially if Rogue. Look, they bring Rogue to the MCU, it's over. You get knocked on your ass. Rogue gets to fly. We're done.
Yeah, I think they're gonna pick Rogue over over Carol.
Yeah, or she'll make some big sacrifice. They'll do an all-female Avengers movie.
Oh, they keep pushing for that, by the way.
Yeah, and she'll make a big sacrifice or something, and then Monica takes over, and that's what's going to happen. But I don't think Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel is going to last very long.
No, and I just find it, and I think a lot of people do, the irony, because of all the shit and the hate people got when they were saying about, well, why aren't we doing Monica Rambeau? And they kept getting called names, and they're like, but wait, why are you calling us racist, sexist? We're talking about how you want Monica Rambeau. And now, after they called her by names, and the rules got changed for Rotten Tomatoes and other things to boost this movie up. Now they're coming back and be like, oh, by the way, Monica Rambeau, did we tell you about this character and how she's a leader among leaders? And and it's like, are you effing kidding me?
Yeah. It's like, come on. Where have you guys been? Again, this just shows that, like, do they actually read the comic books?
No.
That they make the shows on and the movies? I don't think they do. I think they just kind of flip through them like, yeah, okay, cool.
Well, it just shows you, too, they're so busy screaming about it. They wanted Captain Marvel to succeed no matter what, that even when people had valid, things they were talking about, like, why isn't it Monica Rambeau? They would do whatever they could to silence them without actually listening to what they were saying, and then call them names, which made no sense given what they were saying.
For the record, here at Clownfish TV, we have been in favor of Monica Rambeau being Captain Marvel since day one.
Yes.
So if it happens, and if this actress is actually good, and she looks pretty good from what I've seen, and they do it in an organic way, good.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Good. Now, do I have hope for the future of the MCU? No, not really.
No.
Not overall, no, I really don't. But
we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. So we're going to wrap this one up.
Yep.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.